everybody. Welcome to Lindy CineMondays 2021, presented obviously by the Gershman Philadelphia Jewish Film Festival. My name is Matt Bussy. I am the festival manager here at GPJFF. We hope you've been enjoying the festival so much. We cannot believe this is the second to last film of the series, and we hope that you've enjoyed the films. We hope that you've enjoyed If You See My Mother. This film is available now, obviously. Hopefully when you're watching this after the movie because we might give away some spoilers, but the film is available on our platform Monday, May 3rd, 7 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time, obviously, and then it's available for 7 days, so until, gotta do the math, May 10th. So we're joined today by a very special guest, the director of the movie himself, Nathanaël Guedj. Guedj. Oh, darn it.
Nathanaël Guedj. It's okay.
Before we started, I asked Nathanaël, how do you say your last name? And I already messed it up. But yes, Nathanaël is here. He's joining us. And we're going to talk about his very delightfully absurd, very funny mother-son comedy. So I love this movie so much. And you know, I just told you I'm a little biased because I just love anything that's French. But I think this movie it's so delightfully strange, and I think that's what makes it work so well, is the almost like fairy tale sort of fantasy element of it that is so appealing and funny too. You know, it's a funny movie, but it also is a pretty heavy movie as well. It deals with grief, it deals with, you know, coming to terms with grief, growing up, really, honestly. I mean, the character of Max, I'll get to, you know, we'll talk about his character later, but in my opinion, you know, he really starts off this movie as he's like a child on the inside, but an adult on the outside, you know, and I feel like by the end, his character arc is that by coming to terms with his mother's passing, he really does become a man himself. So it's something. It's definitely something. And I remember, you know, when I watched this with our screening committee, you know, all of us were just so enthralled by how almost magical a movie it is. You know, you really don't see a lot of movies like this nowadays. So yes, so I see this was co-written with, you co-wrote this with a bunch of other people too.
Yeah, exactly.
Where did this wild story come from?
Okay, so first, thank you very much for everything you say, and it's exactly this, and so it starts with a simple idea. What if a mother interfered everywhere, all the time, for example, in your couple or in your work? And while working on the script, I gradually became aware of what was behind the idea. I have to tell you that my mother was seriously ill. Don't worry, she's fine now, but somewhere I prepared myself for death, and I think it was this in-between time that I was looking for. It's like, you know, a way to cheat to cheat death, to win over death. I don't know if it's right, like you know, when you want to exercise. Um, and you know, because my mother was ill, it's the idea is a way to for me to make my mother thanks to the movie, my mother is immortal, you know, and she's always present even afterwards. And behind and I tried also behind this dramatic dimension to getting on with life, because we have a duty to laugh about it, to put irony into it. You know, like it's like when you remember a dead person at a funeral, and everyone is laughing and crying. So it was this feeling that interested me.
That's beautiful. Yeah. And I think that's what makes the movie work so well, is that grief is such an unusual emotion. You know, it's kind of like when sometimes, like if you go to a funeral, you know, you see loved ones and they're laughing so much because they're
Yeah,
thinking about the happy memories, but then a second later you see them crying so much because it's like, they want those memories back. And I like that you use the word immortal. It's kind of like your mother, when you were writing the stories like that, because it's kind of like they always say, when someone you love dies, it's like even though you can't really see them, they're still always going to be with you,
yeah, she stays. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and I'm happy that she's better too. That's obviously very good. Well, that's very cool. Yeah, and also, if I'm not mistaken, Oedipus Rex, the
Yeah,
famous tragedy by Sophocles, that I don't know if it's the same in France, but in America, pretty much every high school you have to read that in English, and it's always a little traumatizing to read, I think. A little bit. The movie definitely, if I'm not mistaken, pulls some, it was inspired a little bit by that. Obviously not as dark,
yeah,
but
yeah. Of course, it's obviously a subject, but Woody Allen's film New York Stories
New York
was
stories,
much,
yeah.
yeah, New York Stories was much more an inspiration than Sophocles.
Oh,
But
really? Yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Because of course there is a relationship to the mother, and how do you cut the cord? Uh, 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 but for me, it's more how to let go of a mother's love. I don't know. There is a book, a French book. The author is Albert Cohen. The book it's called Le Livre de ma mère. It's a book of my mother. And this author, it's a famous French author, and he wrote this book just after his mother died. Okay, and it was a real inspiration, and he wrote something like a mother's love is unconditional and powerful. And for me, when we work on the script, uh, 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 it's uh, the question is for Max is how he can let go this powerful love of his mother to really love Ohiana, the woman
Mhm.
he is in love.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. And for those who aren't familiar, New York Stories is a 1989 movie. It was a like an anthology movie. It's three movies in
Three movies,
one.
yeah,
And there was one short film called, it was by Woody Allen, and it was called Oedipus Rex, but it was
yes,
Rex like
yeah,
WRECKS. And it's very similar. It's a comedy about, yeah, his mother dies, but then he like sees her in the
in
sky,
the
and like
sky, exactly.
yeah, and like she's still nagging him and she won't leave him alone and everything like that. So yeah, I feel like, the story of Oedipus Rex by Sophocles, I don't remember it. I just remember that it's much darker, and there's like, if I'm not mistaken, like incest and stuff like that. But there's so many, different iterations of this play, and I think that the main theme is yeah, a mother's love. You can't really ever escape it in a way,
Yeah,
and you can play around with that in stories so much, and you can make really really funny, movies like this one. And also, you mentioned the character of Ohiana,
yeah,
who,
no.
yeah, because this kind of answers my next question. I was going to ask, kind of like what I said at the beginning, Max's character. What I love about the movie so much is Max's character arc. He really does become a man at the end. And I think the real sweetness of the movie is Ohiana, because, she is such an innocent young woman. And from the very beginning, she understands that he's just a little quirky and kind of a little strange, but even when he just tells her, no, I'm hallucinating my dead mother, she doesn't even really, she's not really scared or worried about it. She kind of just immediately goes, oh, okay, that's
She
fine.
accept. Yeah, she accept.
Yeah, like c'est pas de problem. It's so it's so, it's that is what works for me so much in the movie, is that she just continues to love this man because she understands his issues, that he really is just a man with some serious, insecurity issues and things like that. So, and I love that actress too, the one who played
Sara
Ohiana.
Giraudeau. Yeah, she's
Yeah.
a famous actress in France. She plays in the in série a show broadcast on Canal Plus. It's she play a spy in a show, and yeah, I like it, and I choose this actress because I choose her because she it's difficult to play Ohiana because she as you say, she has to accept immediately his craziness, his but also you have to believe in their love, and and um, and also she's a psychanalyst. How do you say
It's like a psychoanalyst. Yeah.
psychanalyst?
Yeah.
She's a psychanalyst, but she never tells him you have to. This is your issue. You have to think. She's just a very. Uh, she accepts, but in a very simple way. She's never in. She never really judges him,
Mm-hmm.
and
That's the thing. Yeah.
yeah, and but she's also a little bit wacko, crazy, because it's crazy to love this, as you said, this young guy before, and she helps him to become a man. So and I really like when we work with Sara Giraudeau. I really like this definition of love. You have to accept the craziness of the person you love.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Yeah. And that's the beauty of the movie, I think, is their love, really. And I remember watching it the whole time, even after the poisoning scene, when I thought it was like over between them. A part of me was still going, no, like stay together, like, and I think it's it's the real beauty of the movie, I think, is their relationship. And I think, this is a good segue into the next question. We have to talk about the lead actor who plays Max, Felix Moati. Is that how you say it? Yeah. I mean, he's definitely, we've shown a few of his movies, actually. For those who don't know, he was in the movie Resistance that we showed last year. It's an American movie, actually, with Jesse Eisenberg. We showed him in a movie a few years ago called Simon and Theodore, which is this really underrated dark comedy about where he also plays a man who's very mentally sick, and it's a much darker performance than it is here. But Felix, he's that actor that you kind of just can't help but love in a way. He has that charisma to him, and I think that's what makes the movie work too, is that you can kind of understand that despite his flaws, you can understand why she would want to be with him in a way. So excuse me, Felix, I actually just read you did you know Felix before this? You did a short film with him.
Exactly. Yeah, he's a friend. He knows my children.
Oh.
He's like yes. First, we made a short film together, Little Man, called Little Man. It's about a personal story of a birth that doesn't go well, and quite naturally, I had him read the script, and we both wanted to work together. He's a talented actor. He usually plays a neurotic Parisian and seductive and festive, but I think he has a whole range of acting skill that are still unexplored. But Felix and I, our neuroses, you say?
Neuroses, yeah.
Neuroses are similar, but he has chosen to deal with them by being optimistic and joyful. But I have chosen a more anxious and depressive side. But we love to be together and to work on this kind of movie or subject. And we have other projects together. And
awesome.
I consider him like a kind of a brother or a double in cinema. and we'll see if we get the chance to make another movie.
Oh, that's amazing. Yeah, please keep making more together.
I hope.
I love hearing from directors, when they say that they get to make movies with their friends,
Yeah.
because it's just, that's, I think, what makes movie making so much fun, because it's such a stressful process.
Yeah.
But then when you get to make it with your friends, it's like, it just must be so awesome to do that.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I totally agree with what you said. I mean, Felix is so good at portraying that neurotic, archetypal character, just from his glasses, just to the way he's just like he just looks so afraid all the time. It's such, he just has this likability to him that he portrays so well. And I also saw he's currently on a TV show right now, I think.
He made a show on Arte in the same
Arte, yeah. Mm-hmm.
With Mélanie Laurent, and the story is about a French Parisian guy who goes to Iran. I don't remember in a Middle East country to save his sister, because his sister disappeared in an attack there, and she goes there, and he goes there to find her and to save her. And it was a great show, and I hope we'll see a season 2 of the show.
That's awesome. Yeah, that's great. Yeah, he's definitely a versatile actor.
Yeah.
And of course, we got to talk about Monique, the mother, and the actress. The actress, I hope I say it right, Noémie Lvovsky.
Exactly. Yes.
Yay, I said it right. So yeah, Monique is definitely a character, and I was, when I watch this movie with people, there's people that adore her, the character, of Monique, but then I feel like there's others that get so annoyed by how much she is nagging with her son's life, even when she's dead, and but even, the more I watch the movie, the more I kind of start to think, well, this is just a hallucination of his mother. So
exactly. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, and that's kind of what I tell people too, and then when I say that, they kind of go, oh, I see. It's, it's kind of just all in Max's head, the nagging, really. Yeah.
In the end, it's him who invents this Monique, this phantasmal mother. She exists only in his head, and he has to accept that his mother has secrets, and she is not just a mother. She's a complex woman. I think he invents this Monique after her death, like a mental projection. And the real Monique only exists in the beginning, before death. He's a friend. He's just a young child before, and he's afraid to move on, and he prevents himself from loving Ohiana. So he invents this way to sabotage himself. I don't know. And yes, I have a lot to say about Noémie Lvovsky. First, it took me a while to convince her. I knew she wanted to play in the film, but she pushed me to go further in the script. She inspired me in many ways. First of all, her film as a director, Camille Redouble. It's a fantastic film. You've seen it? Yeah?
I haven't, but I've heard of it, yeah.
It's brilliant. It's a film with a twist, but in an European way, melancholic and playful, very deep movie. And of course, Noémie's acting, she can be very tough, but while being very funny and always very touching. And the role of Monique is difficult. For me, as you said, also Monique only exists in Max's head. But go and tell your actress, the person, the Monique is just a mental projection. You don't exist. She she doesn't like when of course, when I say that. But gradually, but gradually, Noemi had fun thinking like Max. It's always a son view of his mother, so we are attached to her like a son. And I think he needs to make her a bad person who said horrible things, or wants to hurt him to get rid of her, and to accept that her love in a way is toxic. But maybe, and I think the real Monique, the one we see before she dies, would have loved Ohiana. He's the one who telling himself that. He's the one who find yes,
like a reason. Yeah. And that's what is so human about this movie. I think so many of us have anxieties, and so many of us, what we will do, I think, is when we don't want to face something that is really scary and intense, like in this case, him falling in love with Ohiana, I think sometimes we as humans, what we do is we like to put the blame on other people, if you know what I mean. Like we like to sort of rationalize like why we can do something that could make our lives better. I think we all do this in so many ways. And in this case, yeah, Max, in a way, I think, he can't get over his mom's passing, but I think in a way he is just so afraid to really grow up that he starts visualizing this very different version of his mother, this naggy, I keep using the word naggy, I can't think of any other word, but
what's naggy?
Oh yeah, nagging, like a naggy person in well, actually naggy, I don't even know if that's a word, I might have just made that up, but if in English, if somebody is nagging you, it kind of means that they just won't leave you alone,
Okay.
Yeah, like they're trying to like control your decisions and everything, and like a lot of parents do, obviously. But yeah, but I totally see what you mean, because Monique, yeah, in the beginning of the movie, when she's alive, she isn't like that in a
No.
way, she's not. It's not until we see how Max views her after she dies that you really do start to go, oh my God, Max is just using her as an excuse to not love this woman in a way, because he's just so afraid to really take this step forward in his life. And I just think in everyday life, that's what so many of us do without even knowing it. We need to blame. We need to find an excuse to not, take a risk in our lives.
Yeah.
And it's ingenious. It's a really ingenious plot, I think, and I think that's what is so memorable about the movie too. And Monique, I'll just say too, for those who don't know, Noemi was actually in a movie that we showed in Fall Fest, The End of Love. And I don't know, Nathanaël, if you've heard of that movie, À Cœur Battant.
Okay. No. Okay.
Yeah, we showed that last fall, and she she also played the mother of one of the characters, and very different performance. But yeah, she's wonderful in this.
Yeah. I love I love working with Noemi. She's fantastic, really.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I just have a few more questions. I mean, I wanted to ask you about, I think when you put quirkiness in a movie, and when I say quirkiness, I mean, a ridiculous kind of absurd sense of humor. And that doesn't mean it in a negative way. I feel, no, it doesn't. I feel like what I'm going to say is that, there are some films that, in my opinion, that take it too far with that. They try to go, it almost becomes like a spoof of other films in a way, and it just becomes too ridiculous. But I feel like what works in If You See My Mother is that it's quirky, but it's not too extreme, you know. Even the scene when, you know, they're riding the motorcycle and Monique out of nowhere just like jumps on the top of it, you know. It's never over the top, you know. It's never over the top. And I think that there's just so many other little quirks in the film, just to the fact that Monique just loves Japan and just wants to go to Japan just because she does, you know. It's like it's there's something so relatable about that in life, you know, because life is absurd to begin with. We all have these passions that we can't even explain, but we just have them. And you know, so I guess I don't have a question. I guess it's just more of a kind of a compliment, you know, because I think you've managed to, yeah, you've managed to make a film that is very out there, but it's not over the top, you know. The humor, I think you managed to keep very, very easy in the film, absurd, but very, you know, I can't think of another word, but easy, you know, not too over the top. And I think that is what really works when you know, read a script about a man hallucinating his dead mother. You know, it can go in so many directions and it can go so over the top or anything like that. But yeah, but you did well though.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Yeah. So
You know, in France it's difficult because I don't. It's specific in France. We have author cinema. You know, the like your independent film. It's
yeah, auteur cinema. Yeah, yeah.
auteur, le cinéma d'auteur. And but the movie is not. It is not really this kind of cinema. It's more in the middle, and is and if you see Mother, it's not really you know um, and a real big entertainment movie. So it's I really want to make this movie like this in the middle. It's not really too dramatic or and I want to I really want to make jokes and to laugh about this drama, but it's not the main goal. Uh, I think when we find this real theme to work on this mental projection and try to work with you know the no, Max who tries to sabotage who sabotage himself. It's for me it's ironic and really funny to because Monique she now now we find this and she can she can jump on this scooter on this because it's logical but it's also very ludic very ludic, very funny very funny but in a simple way very so in a way it's when you find the theme and what you really want to say, you don't really choose. It's the script or the story choose for you. I don't know if I'm clear, but
no, you are. I understand completely. Yeah, and also, you know, because when you're writing a script, you know, especially if you're writing a film with comedic elements to it, you know, you need to make the tone on the same level, if that makes sense.
yeah.
You know? Because this is a comedy, but it does have a bit of a dramatic side to it and a romantic side to it and a very absurd side to it as well. And I think so long as you just even all of those out, you know, you make a perfect movie in a way, you know. And that's how no, but that's how it works. That's exactly how it works when you make a film. So it's yeah, I think it's definitely, yeah. And you know, there it's almost like, yeah, I mean there's so many moments, but yeah, I mean the scene with Monique jumping on the motorcycle, I mean it's ridiculous, but at the same time it's like I feel like we've all at some point in our lives have pictured, have had a parent who's very much like that, and when they don't want us to do something, it's like in our heads, you know, we really do imagine them doing that. Like if I want to if I'm a teenager and I want to go to a high school party, my mom would literally be like, no,
No, don't do this. Yeah, yeah.
don't, like, it's so much. But in our heads we think that, and in real life it does happen. I mean, no, my mom won't jump. I never had a motorcycle, but my mom also would never do that. But that's what works. It's like everything that we see in the film is a very clear visualization of, not just in Max's mind, but I think in our own lives, those just crazy things that we picture that we know can't happen, but they do. So
And it's both sides. It's very funny and very anxious, but also very dramatic. And when some people came after they see the movie and say when I lost my father or my mother, I see him like or I see her like in your movie. And when they say this, it's not just dramatic or sad. It's also a way to keep the person, to keep the dead person, to continue to love, to live with him, or to love with him or her. I have a question for you. How do you what do you think, or how do you feel when you see the fusion between the mother and the son? When Noemi plays Felix.
Oh my God, I completely forgot about that scene. Oh,
No, don't worry.
hilarious. It's hilarious though. It's so like, it takes the fantasy element of the film a whole step forward, and I feel like it builds up to that, and it works too, because the film is, as you watch the film, it becomes more and more strange in a way. And then when it finally gets to that scene, you really just go, wait, what? Like, it's such a, but it's so funny too, in a way.
Are you, in a way, are you out of the movie, or you keep inside the story?
Oh, it totally it kept me, and I know it kept everybody so much more into the movie. Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, I think when a film like that takes such a huge leap and you're already so invested with these characters, you kind of just have to go, wait, what? And how is this going to end now? What? I mean, it's like, it's an an imagination from Max's side, but
No, because I ask this question because I know it's a gray area, it's a strange idea, but I really want to go further as possible. And I know some viewer are very I don't know how to say it, destabilized, are very
kind of like I see what you mean, like
it's so strange, and they don't know how to what to think, or
yeah.
but they're very happy when Max
comes back. Yeah.
So my work is good if they are happy in this moment. But
absolutely, yeah. That's definitely, it's bringing back a memory. You see, we review these films with our screening committee before, if they get booked. And I remember when we were reviewing this, that was actually one scene that everybody kept bringing up. They said, "Oh my God, the scene like when his mother is him, it's like it just, the whole film just is so." That was a moment that kept coming up, and it was all positive emotions that they kind of just said it was so hilarious. And I feel like there's probably in film world, there's like in screenwriting, there's a term for when a story, takes a leap forward that crazily, I can't.
I don't know the word, but
yeah, you know what I mean though. It works though. Yeah, it's definitely it's weird, but so good, and yes, and definitely I also agree that when Max does come back, it does.
It's a relief.
You have a sigh of relief. You're like, okay, good. That was just okay. Thank God. It's very good. So yeah, I mean, what is the future of the film then? So it's playing at a lot more festivals.
Festival, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm lucky. It was broadcast on Arte last year,
Hmm.
and we did very well. We won an audience award at La Rochelle Film Festival. It's a
Very good.
film festival. But I'm honored that the film exists in North America. For me, I'm proud to be a French director, but we all in France, we all have a love for American cinema. So
Hmm.
so of course I would like to thank the festival, and also Neil, the North American distributor of Menemsha film.
Oh
Uh,
yes. I didn't even thank Menemsha Films. Oh my God, Menemsha Films. For those who don't know, we get so many of their films. They pick amazing films like this one, which they acquired. So yeah, and it's definitely good. Yeah, this also played at the Toronto Jewish Film Festival, which is actually where we found out about it. We're very close with them. And yeah, I guess my last question, Nathanaël, is do you have any upcoming projects in the works? I think you said earlier you hope to work with Felix again.
yeah, with Felix, yeah, the movie, it's funny. The movie is called Je suis ton père, I am your father.
Je suis ton père, yeah.
And it's the story of a father who has a middle life crisis and a son who hates his father. And one day, because of a magic trick that goes wrong, the father finds himself the same age as his son. The pitch is
Oh my God.
and the pitch is, what if your father literally become no, sorry, what if a father literally become his son's mate?
Oh
It's
my
stupid.
goodness.
Yeah, it's stupid, but I like this
No, that's like hilarious. Yeah. Oh my God. Well, we definitely can't wait to see that. We can't wait to see more of what you have in store. Yeah, thank you so much for making this
Thank you
hilarious
very much.
film.
Thank you very much.
We were delighted to show it, and thank you for joining me too today. Yeah, so this film, please check it out. Tell your friends about it. Watch it again. It is available, as I said, Monday, May 3rd, 7 p.m. until Monday, May 10th at 7 p.m. So you have the full 7 days to watch it. We really hope you enjoy it. Nathanaël, merci beaucoup for
Merci
being
beaucoup,
here.
Thank you very much. Thank
And
you.
yes, thank you. Have a good yeah, let's keep in touch.
Yeah.
Thank you
Thank
so
you.
so much. Have a good day.
Bye.